Halo semuanya, selamat sore, selamat datang lagi di Skill Tree episode ke-32. Kali ini Skill Tree-nya sedikit istimewa karena kita mengundang salah satu platform untuk publishing game, yaitu Xbox. Nah, di sini akan hadir Mrs. Agnes from Xbox. I invite you to the screen. Okay. Hello, Miss
Hello.
Agnes. How are
This
you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk about Xbox today.
Hmm.
I think you introduced me, but my name is Agnes Kim, and I work at Xbox managing content partnerships for specifically Asian partners. So I'm very, very excited to be here.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what you will share about Xbox today?
Yeah, a lot of things. So I'm going to talk about basic stuff around what our gaming vision is, what Xbox cares about. But I will also talk about things like how to pitch your game well to Xbox, and also briefly about ID at Xbox, which is our self-publishing platform, especially for those indie developers who want to publish digitally without needing to, have a publisher in contract. So it will just make it easier to bring your game to our platform.
Hmm.
So all kinds of stuff.
Okay, cool. So, without further ado, I will give the stage to you. Okay, the stage is yours, Miss Agnes. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. So again, I'm very excited to be here today. My goal is to bring your games to our platform, and I'd love to make it easier for you all. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our gaming vision and how you can bring your game to Xbox. Our goal for developers is to enable you to bring your games to our global audience. Our mission as a company is to allow gamers to play Xbox games with people you want and anywhere you want. We want to put gamers at the center. In order to do this, we need to enable choice. You shouldn't be forced to only play a game on a device in your living room or in front of your TV. You should be able to choose wherever you play and whoever you play with. And this model exists already. For example, people want their music and videos wherever they are, and whatever device. So, why not games? So let me start with our traditional console devices. This is what we are good at, and we just launched our latest generation, Series X and S, last fall. For those who don't know, Series X is more powerful, high end, the black refrigerator looking one, and then the Series S is the value product with no optical disc drive. But we didn't stop there, as we wanted consumers to have more choice, like I mentioned. We have a program called Xbox All Access, which is like a mobile plan of paying monthly fees to get the device at the end of the pay period. So on top of getting the console, you also get Xbox Live and Ultimate Game Pass. We launched the program last year in 12 countries, and we plan to increase it to 20 plus countries by 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. I also want to talk about the importance of content for us. We finalized our acquisition of Bethesda a few months ago, and we now have these amazing franchises that will live in our Xbox ecosystem. And as you might already heard, we are bringing these content to Game Pass, which is a great segue to Game Pass. Because Game Pass is a very important core priority for us. It's a subscription service for gaming. We try not to call it Netflix of gaming, but it is the easiest way for people to understand, for those who don't know it. Um, Game Pass's vision is to make gaming the default choice of free time. And we do this by bringing in awesome games that are high quality, diverse genre, and cross device enabled. We are always curating Game Pass catalog, and also we do active marketing to make sure that our consumers get to know all the amazing titles in Game Pass, uh, Xbox Game Pass. And there are three big pillars of Game Pass. Is there are three big pillars of Game Pass, and it's value, discovery, and community. We bring awesome value to consumers by bringing in games consumers wants to play. We also allow consumers to discover new games that they never would have played or tried. And we build community by letting you always have the library that your friends might have, so you can build your friendship and shareable memories around the same games. Currently, we have more than 300 console games, more than 200 PC games, and more than 150 streamable games in Game Pass. This is evolving constantly with new games coming in and old games exiting every month. So this number would most likely change, but it just shows the magnitude of how many awesome games we have in this service. And this is obviously a US price, but I just wanted to show you the value of XGP. We call it XGP short, by showing these three different SKUs. Like one is just for console games, and the other one is for just PC. And Ultimate is for both consoles and PC Game Pass, and it even has Xbox Live Gold and Perks, which is a bonus program for Ultimate users where you get free content and perks. This is just $14.99 together, and it is the most valuable and popular choice of the products we offer. I also want to show what partners like you, developers, can get from bringing their games to Game Pass. If more than 18 million subscribers who are captive audience to your title doesn't convince you, here's a breakdown of the value for you. First, you get the license fee. And by bringing your game into Game Pass, you also get marketing exposure and the captive audience who are highly engaged. We even have a separate tab for Game Pass and Xbox, so your title is just going to be highlighted more actively if it is in Game Pass. There's revenue upside because our audience in Game Pass are just very much engaged, which leads to increased post-sales monetization, franchise upsell, and game sales. All of this is a value you won't be able to see anywhere else, and we are very confident that partners will see a lot of value by bringing their games to Game Pass. Since I mentioned Perks, I do want to briefly touch on this. Perks is a program we established to give extra benefits to Ultimate users, and free-to-play games or game-as-service titles can offer consumables, content, XP boost type of in-game content for free. And you could also get things like Discord, Spotify, Disney Channel subscription for a couple months. It's a fun added benefit for Ultimate subscribers and a great way for free to play and game as service partners to market their game, leveraging the captive audience that we have in XGP. One last thing I want to mention is for Game Pass at least is our efforts in PC. We're usually known as a console company, but as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to give more options to consumers. We obviously have PC Game Pass with more than 200 PC game titles, but we also have Windows Store with more casual mid-core games. We have so many Windows devices in the world, as you can imagine. It's also a great way to get your game to more users around the globe. I just want to emphasize that even if your title isn't a console title, and if it's a PC title, we can discover ways to support your game. It's not available in Indonesia yet, but I do want to talk about xCloud, our cloud gaming, as it's one of, again, our important priorities. xCloud is our game streaming service where it allows you to play Xbox games on your phone, tablet, and laptops, and more. Any device, like our goal is to basically get to stream it to any internet connected device with the screen. It allows you to take your game anywhere to any device, and it's truly a game changer for consumers. We launched the official beta product last September with global partners like Samsung, and at the time, it was just Android, but ta-da, we just released the Windows and iOS version, albeit just the public testing version, but we're constantly expanding xCloud service, and it really just shows our journey for that. The interface for Windows looks like this. Hopefully, we can receive positive feedback so we can continue to grow our xCloud service. And I just think it's a great product for our globalization efforts. Lastly, on xCloud, I do want to talk about touch. Currently, there is no additional development effort you have to put to enable xCloud on your game as long as the game is running on Xbox. However, there is an additional development effort you would need to put if you were to add touch to your game. xCloud is playable via controller right now, but for touch-enabled games, you don't need controllers, obviously. And we have so far 50 titles that are touch enabled, and we see increased usage and more positive sentiment when it's touch adapted. So I highly recommend you to think about this when you're bringing your game to Xbox and xCloud. That additional development effort can really, bring more joy to our gamers. Last session is on Idea Xbox. Idea Xbox is our self-publishing program, as I mentioned it earlier briefly. It allows indie developers to publish the game on our platform easily. Through Idea Xbox, we publish more than 2,000 games. We currently engage with more than 4,000 studios from 67 countries, and 2,000 games are currently in active development through the program. More than 125 titles went into Game Pass from Idea Xbox catalog, and Idea Xbox partners generated more than $1.5 billion in revenue, which is so awesome. This shows the history of Idea at Xbox, and honestly, in less than 10 years, it is astonishing to see the achievements our partners made through this program. A lot of these are repetitive, what I just mentioned, but it just really, really is growing, and it's a program that we're so excited to introduce to you guys. Joining it Idea Xbox is super easy. You'll register via the link I will share later, which would be followed up with NDA, GDK, all these paperworks. And when you're ready, you will submit your game information form. Once that is approved, you can start building the game on our console, and you will need to pass certification, which is a set of policies and parameters set for the console by our company, and then you'll be ready to publish the game. I also want to talk about a few tips on pitching to Idea at Xbox, which I feel like is very important, crucial for developers to know. So first of all, I would like to emphasize that you don't need to wait till your game is all ready to publish, all ready to ship. You can start talking to us way before that. Even if your game
Hello, Agnes. Your voice is missing, I think. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's weird. I
Welcome.
think my mic just went off by itself. Should I start over this slide?
Yeah, please start over this slide. Welcome back. Okay,
Okay, sounds
let's continue. Okay, good.
Um, I would also like to talk about a few tips on pitching to Idea at Xbox. I think this is a very crucial information for independent developers. And if you were to take anything away today, hopefully this one pager is it. So first of all, I would like to emphasize that you don't have to wait till your game is all ready to ship to talk to us. It can be way before that. And even if your game is at its early stage of development, we would rather get to know about it than not. You'll have to share something with us, of course, and this is kind of in order of effectiveness. So I would say this is a good list to look at and review. Demo is obviously the most effective because we get to actually play the game, feel the game. What kind of graphics, what kind of storyline, what kind of gameplay. So clearly that is the most effective one. But if that's not possible, then B-roll video footage with dev commentary, that's also good. If that not, then just a video is also great. If not, then moving to GIFs where you can't really see it, with the audio and all. But yeah, sure, we're seeing some movements. If not, then screenshots, at least show some visuals. And if not, then words and concepts. Um, even if it at is at that concept phase, like we would rather know about it, because if it's a really cool concept, really cool, you know, game, we might be interested in talking to you earlier than later. But of course, like playables, demos, videos, anything with visual is absolutely the best way to engage with us. So also for marketing, is something that I feel like a lot of developers might not know. We prefer to have the titles unannounced so that we can announce it. So we're being greedy here, but we would love to make the splash together. So basically this is saying the less your title has been revealed, the more opportunities we can highlight it and leverage the hype. um, so it's not to say that you can't, if you've already revealed everything, you can't talk to us, but just be mindful of when you're planning out your marketing messaging, that you're thinking about the platform holders, and making sure that you get a chance to leverage their consumers, and possibly announce with us. So that's something oftentimes gets lost, but I want you guys to be mindful. Also, please, like we get a lot of titles submitted to us, pitched to us. So it is good to find your competitive advantage. And I would say when you're submitting information to us, please find ways to show innovation in your title. Like what makes your title different from others in the genre? Um, and just make sure that you really emphasize that point. Um, the next one is find your champion, which means that you should find your Xbox champion who can be fighting for your game, who can be your cheerleader internally at Xbox. And then they would really, instead of you just submitting it, maybe getting lost in the thousands that get submitted, this person would really, be there fighting for you, pitching it for you. And that person can be somebody like me, somebody from other Xbox team members, but it will definitely help your case. And then, engage with us. Like, you don't have to wait till everything is perfect. Ask us questions, let us know what you need from us. Like, what is it that you need to make your game successful? So continue to have that dialogue. And lastly, all the strategies that I mentioned, all the gaming vision stuff that I just talked about today around Game Pass and xCloud, those are very important to us. And we care about partners who consider them important too. So if you can align your game to fit those strategies, to think about bringing it to Game Pass, think about how it will work on xCloud, that would then give us the confidence that you guys are ready to work with us and open to collaborate with us. And it will just really help the case um, for your game to shine. And this is the link that you can register directly when you're ready. Then again, once you register, you'll get all the kind of paperwork that you would need to sign, and then you'll get to go through the process up until the publishing part. And these are some more useful links and information, the register link. And if you have any questions, you can obviously reach out to me, but there's also the email alias ideasia@microsoft.com. We have Twitter, we have Discord, we have YouTube. So, just talk to us, show us your game. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask the questions or complain, or bring the games, whatever it is. We are so excited to get to know your game. I certainly have been very impressed by Indonesian games, and I would love to see more on our platform. Thank you so much. Now to Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Agnes, for the very interesting explanation about Xbox Game Pass, Xbox ID at Xbox, and everything about Xbox. So we have collected some questions from the community and would like to share it with you and get the answer. Okay, the first question. And then, do Xbox have any representative in Indonesia who can guide me through by step on how to self-publishing?
So unfortunately, we don't have a
Mm,
representative in Indonesia, but we do have team members who manage Asian content creators. So, one of
mhm,
them is me. We also have somebody based in Japan. So, um, So the short answer is no, but we have other representatives in different markets who are there to support Indonesian developers.
So, if anybody have a question about how to self-publish, they can contact you directly, just
Yeah,
like
they
that.
can contact me. They can also contact Asia at Microsoft.com, that email that I shared earlier. But yes, they can share
Okay.
with me, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move to the next question. How is the revenue proportion if my game got featured in Xbox Game Pass?
Mm. So the regular rev share is 70-30, and I think that's not a secret. It's pretty standard across console platforms. If you go into Game Pass, what happens is that you get license fee, um, and you get upsell. So like the base game is technically free to those who have Game Pass, right? Because it's a subscription service, just like how Netflix is.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
buy
right.
those content, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for Game Pass users, it will be free. That means no revenue share because we're not making any money. So the developers also won't see any money. For outside of Game Pass users, then they have to buy it. So it's a regular 70-30. Um,
Okay.
but like I mentioned, you get license fee upfront to consider all these kind of lost revenue that might occur. So we give you money to kind of offset that. So you would actually see more upside because you get the money, and you also, if your title has like DLC or add-ons or franchise, then you see also more upsell. So all in all, you will see positive impact from it, but not from you won't get revenue from Game Pass users during the time your titles is in Game Pass.
So, if my game got featured in Game Pass, if I have any DLCs or let's say any items or DLC, is it purchased outside the Game Pass or already inside the Game Pass also?
So yes, you still have to purchase it. Only base game is free for Game Pass users.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, even Game Pass users still have to buy it. So though, but it's we offer discounts as a benefit. So it will
I
be
see.
a
Yeah.
little cheaper. Like I forget the percentage. It will be cheaper, but you still have to buy it.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Let's move to the next question. If I want to self-publish, can Xbox send the dev kit directly to Indonesia? Is the dev kit free of charge? Yeah.
um. So so
One of the question that asked by many people
totally.
in our community.
Very, very popular question. I know dev kits are
Yeah.
not cheap. So I'm gonna answer this in a more not a straightforward way, just because it's a little bit complicated. So first of all, Xbox One kits, which is the last generation kits, yes, we can send it for free. We can send it to Indonesia. For the new generation Series XS kits, it's a little trickier because there's chip shortage, and it's not just specific to Indonesia. It's just worldwide. We're having trouble producing enough kits or retail
Okay.
consoles because of the shortage of the chips. So we have
Mhm.
very limited number. We are bringing some to Indonesia towards the late summer, fall this year, towards the end of the year, let's say.
Oh, I see.
But because of the limited shortage, it's been hard for us to justify, like we it's hard for us to give out for free just because we just don't have a lot. However, if there's a title, and let's say that um you have this awesome title and we absolutely want to support it, we want to do a partnership with you, we want to bring it to Game Pass, we want to bring it to Xbox, and like our discussion really goes down
Mhm.
that route, then we can see, again, like we can see if we can put it in the deal, like discussion, or we can see if we can give one for free. It's a flexible answer, but like all I'm saying is don't give up on hope. Just reach out to me and see like what we can do.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, not as simple of an answer.
Okay. Yeah. That's a complicated answer, I think. To answer. Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the next question. I ever read that consumer Xbox console can be used as dev kit also. Is it still possible to do it both for Xbox One or Xbox Series X?
So I know that dev kits can turn into retail, but I have not heard that retail can turn into dev kits. I'm not super technical, so I might be wrong, but I don't know a way of switching the retail version to dev kits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I might have to check with my technical team, but as far as I know, I don't think it will be as effective. Um, but by the way, I do want to. So we have these documents and the technical documents, and you can actually build as much as you can on PC using our documents, using our other non-dev kit tools. Um, dev kit is really there so that you can test it in a right environment, and it is of course recommended that you at least have one,
Mm-hmm.
but you can get to like 95% of the development without the dev kit. And again, I'm not technical, but I can bring in our team to talk a little bit more about this or answer those questions on email with my other team members. But
Okay.
don't be discouraged just because you don't have a dev kit. You can absolutely build the game 95% of the way, and the rest of the 5% is really just to test and make sure that it runs smoothly on the dev kit
Mm-hmm.
on the retail environment. So just wanted to say that, but I don't know. I don't think it's like a same experience, and I don't think this turning retail kit to dev kit is gonna work that well.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Oh, next. I think it's the same question like the before. So the reference reality proportion is 70-30 in general.
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah,
Okay.
Xbox ID at Xbox, even if you go through Game Pass, like if you sell your game, yeah, for console it's 70-30.
Is it any special case that the revenue proportion will change uh, rather than 50-70-70-30? Is that any special case for that?
So PC is a little bit different. PC
Mm-hmm.
we give more favorable royalty share. It's similar to um, Steam. So we give more favorable there. For console, though, that is our standard. We haven't really changed it in
Mm-hmm.
since we been established. So I don't. Yeah. So that would be like the expectation. We should all have 70-30 for console and more favorable. And I think those who published on Steam would know what the PC is, but the more favorable
Mm-hmm.
for PC.
Okay. Thank you. Hopefully it will answer all this question. So the next question is, if you have a game that ready to publish through idea book, how long usually the process will take starting from fill up the requirement until my game has appeared in the store?
Hmm. Well, that depends on how well your game is made or how ready it is. So if
Mm-hmm.
your game you feel like it's like a finished product and you already have a PC version of it and all you just need to do is to bring it to a console, then this process will be much shorter. So let's say that you already published on PC, and you're gonna bring it to Xbox, and you're going through ID at Xbox. So that process, I can see it taking anything from 3 to 4 months to half a year. Um, Only because the all the even though it sounds silly, like all the agreements take time, right? It takes a couple of weeks to go get through
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yes.
and then you have to submit the game information form, and then our team will have to review it, see if it's a good. And obviously if you already publish your game, release your game on PC, the approval will be easier. But then we'll approve it, and then you will, if you haven't already started porting, then you'll kind of need to do that. And then the biggest bulk of the time is going to be the cert. So we have set of certifications, which is basically saying, because we are a closed environment, right? Like PC is
Mm-hmm.
just open, but since we're a box, we need to make sure that the game kind of goes through the right competency. Like we just want to make sure it runs well, so there's like many XRs, Xbox requirements. So that process takes the longest, and that I would give at least, especially if you're doing it for the first time, like 3 to 5 months. If you're really familiar with it, then 2 months, 3 months. But that would be the biggest bulk of the time. So if your game is ready, I would say 3 months to half a year. If your game is not
Mm-hmm.
ready, then it can take a long time. So obviously, because you have to
Okay.
continue to develop the
Mm-hmm.
game. But yeah, I would like if you have a target date, I would start earlier than later. It takes longer than you might imagine.
Okay. So I think the question is more to they have one game that ready to publish. So I think yeah, sorry, they need all they need. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's shorter. Okay. The next question. What do you think? When is the better time to start communicating with Xbox? Is it possible to start communicating when the game is nearly finished?
100%, even before that. I think
Okay.
that was what I talked about earlier, but like please don't wait. You don't have to wait till everything is done and finished. Um
Mm-hmm.
it's a conversation. So like especially if your game is super interesting, we don't want to lose an opportunity to talk to
Mm-hmm.
you earlier. So um if you like I think the best way when what I recommend to my partners is, hey, if you have some visuals that you can share, like preferably videos, is probably the right time for you to talk to us. And if you are planning on announcing it or teasing it in any way, please talk to us before it, just so that we get an opportunity to review the title and see if we can help. So the answer is yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Is there any support from Xbox after my game have published in store? What kind of support is it? Is it
Yeah, I mean, we have market. We're obviously gonna market your game. So we have. I didn't show in the PowerPoint, but we have an ID at Xbox section in our dash. So your title can be surfaced there. We also have a lot
Mm-hmm.
of events. Like I don't know if you guys saw the Twitch event, but it was very long. So we have ways to maybe engage there. So there's a lot of marketing aspects that we can support. And I would say like if you really want additional support, just make sure to reach out to us, and
Mm-hmm.
express it like, hey, I have an update. Hey, this title is coming, like is there anything I can get from you guys? So just make sure that you communicate that to us, because again, like we have hundreds of titles and sometimes it all gets lost. So the more you engage with us and more you show us, it'll be easier for us to support.
Okay. Thank you. And then next questions. My game already published in store. Is there any tips to get featured in store? Yeah, I think he won his game got more visibility to the audience.
Yeah, no, totally.
Any tips?
So this is a good example of like, please, by the way, the best way to get featured, timing to get featured is when you launch the game, when you have an update, when you have DLCs, like when you have discount. So it will be harder and harder, like as the game gets older and older and there's no updates, we will lose kind of reasoning to highlight your game. So please be mindful of that and be strategic about what you want to talk about. So is it that you're discounting? Is it that you have a new update? Is it a new game? Like whatever. It sounds like it's not, but like anyways, just think about that and reach out to Xbox and basically say, hey, like these are some of the things that are happening. Can you please highlight my game? And we will then kind of support it that way.
Okay. So is there any dedicated team to communicate with developers on how they can get featured on
Yeah,
store?
there is an alias. I have to find it
Okay.
to so you can send it out. Let me see. Or I can send it to you afterwards, February. But yes, there's absolutely is an alias that you can reach out to talk about it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I will show it on the YouTube after this session ends. Okay. So the next question is if I register game through ID Xbox, is there any console exclusive before I can publish it to other platform?
Nope.
Oh, so the developer can submit the game to Xbox and to other platform in the same time.
Yeah.
No limitation for that.
Unless, of course, if we did a deal and we asked you to be exclusive on our platform, then that's a different story. But if you're just coming to our platform, I mean, multi-platform, like go for it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. This Ardan come join with us. I think he want to ask some question for you. Hello, Ardan.
Hi,
Maybe you have some
Yeah.
question to Agnes also.
Oh yeah. Hello. Nice to meet you, Agnes.
nice to meet
Um.
you.
So I think for the Xbox, you do have the Xbox Game Pass, right?
Hmm.
Right. Do the is it different when how does it work like when we are indie dev? Like there's a lot of indie games in the Game Pass as well, right? Like, is it a different path when you publish it in the Xbox and then the Xbox Game Pass? Is it a different deal, or is it how is it work? If I want to have a deal into the Game Pass, is it different? Because in your slide that you uh there's a different section, right? The ID game Xbox and then the Xbox Game Pass as well.
Yeah. So, are you asking kind of like, technically, is it different,
Hmm.
or is it deal like process is different? Are you
Plus,
asking process?
yeah, is it the process? I guess.
Yeah. So, no, not necessarily. So you would still have to go through ID at Xbox. So just consider ID at Xbox as like the first step.
Mm,
That's the baseline, and that's how you
mm,
get into the platform.
right.
Um, in Game Pass is on top of that. So um, there's many different ways you can get into Game Pass, but like one example is uh, let's say that you brought one of the developers sent me their titles and it looks
Mm,
really cool, so
mm.
then I go to our internal teams and basically say, hey, look at this title, doesn't it look super awesome, we want to bring
Oh,
it to
okay.
Game Pass. And then Game Pass team will say, oh cool, like that's awesome, this is kind of our proposal,
Mm.
and they still have to go through the idea Xbox program. So yeah, ID on Xbox is just kind of the baseline. It's just a way of you bringing your game to our platform, and Game Pass is a just consider as like a partnership deal on top of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome.
We have another question. Yeah. Is there any requirement, technical or non-technical, if you want to be a Microsoft partner?
Hmm. I wonder what do you mean by Microsoft partner? Like just Xbox partner? Like to be.
Yeah, I think what you want to ask is about export partner. I think.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, absolutely. There's technical requirements. So that's kind of what I talked about earlier. The certs and the Xbox requirements. You do have to pass those. So there's absolutely technical requirements. There's a lot, and you have to sign a couple papers to actually see the details of it. Um, it's not that bad. I would say, I mean, it sounds overwhelming to see it, but tons, as you saw, 4,000 titles did it. There's a lot of solo developers who did it. It's not super overwhelming.
Hmm.
So yes, we do have those, and there's policy guidelines. Um, really, I mean, like a good example is like if you have certain art, you can't show, your game art. It can't show like nudity. You know what I mean? Like those types of
Hmm.
policies. Yes, we do have
Hmm.
those, and we have a hub, like a dev hub, where you can go and see all of the documents and policies. So you'll be able to study them. Yeah,
Hmm.
we do have them, and I probably, if I wanted to talk about it all, like it will be 7 days straight. So, um, but the answer is yes, there are requirements.
Okay. The next question is, wait, is ID Xbox different than creators program? What's the difference? I think what he mentioned is Xbox Live Creators Program, right? Is it? Am I right? Yeah.
Um, it is a different program. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the creators program, I actually don't know a lot of details about, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
different program. Like, idea at Xbox is really just a way for indie developers to have the lowest barrier of coming to our
Mm-hmm.
platform. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of like, hey, I'm a solo developer. I don't have a publishing contract with anybody. Um, I have no plans to make physical discs. You know, it just sounds so overwhelming to just come to us and be like, I want to publish the game. So it kind of we made a program to make that easier, more you know,
Mm-hmm.
process wise, and like the support
Lower the entry
group.
barrier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Mm.
is different.
Okay. Okay. So, is there any opportunity for the ID Xbox developers to get their physical disc also, or is it only for digital version?
Yeah, it's only digital. I think we were trying to figure out a way if we can make some exceptions or add some, but like it's really challenging because when you add disk to it, you need to like find authorized replicators.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing gets involved. Royalty is also more complicated with disks. It's like a tiered system. So all in all, it makes it very, very challenging. So we try not to, because then we can't scale, right? Like if everything gets really
Mm-hmm.
complicated individually. Um, so no, I would say no, but there's ways to do it. Obviously, like for example, Stardew Valley came to ID at Xbox and they published on ID at Xbox, but because of the popularity,
Popularity. Mm-hmm.
yeah, they partnered with 505 to do the discs. So there's ways like
Ah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
like have like a partner who can do the disc for you, and just still be on ID at Xbox. Um, so yeah, there's creative ways to kind of go around that.
Okay, so we publish digitally through ID at Xbox, and we can go physically by partnership with other publisher or third party company, just like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
totally.
there's no limitation from Xbox for that.
No, and by the way, I want to be clear. Uh, you can still have a publisher and come to ID at Xbox. That's totally fine.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's no limit in like. I mean, obviously, if you're like a 3,000 people company, then I Xbox might not be the right place. But you can still have
Okay.
a publisher, because like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of publishers, like I guess like Tiny Build, 505, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
that's
of
right.
those published indie games, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they went through a while back ID at Xbox too. So um it's no problem if you go through publishers. I sometimes when you go through publishers, there's pros and cons, right? So if you feel like, hey, I don't want to go through a publisher or I can't go through a publisher, then ID at Xbox is obviously an easy way for you to come. But if you do have a publisher, that's okay too. Like we're not saying it has to be just the developers. It can be anyone.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So the process from ID Xbox will uh, go through the publisher, not the developer, right? If they have publishers.
Yeah, if they have publishers, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
again, like this is like so that developer might not work with the publisher forever, right? So there might be some new projects that might not go through that
Mm-hmm.
publisher. In those
Mm-hmm.
cases, don't be afraid to reach out to us because maybe you're like, oh, you know what? I tried it with the publisher and I feel familiar now, so I can go solo or do it myself for the next one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when like the relationship between Xbox directly would be helpful. So all I'm saying is yes, the publisher will be the main contact for that particular title, but in the
Mm-hmm.
future ones, like you never know. So it's not a bad idea to kind of just develop that relationship with Xbox directly.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
I think that's the last question I have. Before we end the session, do you have any message to Indonesian developers, or how they can contact you? Maybe if they have any other questions.
Yeah, so I will give you all the contact information. You can reach out to me on my email. I have Twitter. Like I'll provide all of that, so it's on YouTube, like the comment section. Um,
Okay.
we are, we are so interested in bringing your titles to our platform. I know it sounds daunting, um, and we don't have a lot of presence there, so it just sounds really foreign. But we're very excited. Like we see some Indonesian games, stairway games to Coral Island and toge games. Like they're amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah, we want to see more of those on our platform. And we're not perfect in the way, like the dev kit situation, and we don't have somebody there. But I just want you guys to all know, like, we are deeply interested in making your game successful on our platform and bringing it to our global audience. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay. Thank you, Agnes. And yeah, I
Thank
think that's
you.
all for our session. Thank you, Agnes, for the explanation and for the answer for our questions. And okay, thank you everybody for joining in this session. And see you next time in another skill tree. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.